Your third doctor,
Doctor
right?
number 3.
But this
3.
time,
Maybe this won't be a joke. Because the first 2 totally flaked out.
there is a standoff at the Walmart. There were gunshots and stuff. Did he think that it was something, you know, like the worst case scenario, a tumor?
That was the easiest thing we've ever had to repair. I wish RVs were always that simple. That's all they eat. And this one here said, man, that sounds like a good idea. Let's try that kind of diet. So that's what we're on.
To another adventure.
Adventure, yay.
And we are going to get to see Lou. And if you don't know who Lou is, you will shortly find out.
Heck, we didn't even know who Lou was.
Yeah, I'm excited to go see Lou.
Yay, Lou.
And if you know what I'm talking about, let us know. Y'all, we made it on our first stop of the day. There might be more, I don't know, but we're at Homosassa State Park. It took me a while to figure out how to say that. Florida's got all kinds of weird, fancy names.
And we got a good parking spot, and nothing is more important than that.
Let me show you. This is how big the parking lot is. We took the last space by the trees, but
we can back up as much as we want.
Over here is overflow, but no one's in overflow, so I don't really know how they want you to park, but we figured since no one was here yet, we would park there. All right, y'all, we've been marked. Show them your mark. It's a manatee. You can either take the tram or the boat. The boat you have to pay for, but the tram is free with your admission. See, tram station. And once you go in, they just say follow the paw prints. I'm assuming this is the right way. And then the trams will come and pick us up. Now, what was the deal with the boat? We've got like an annual pass.
We have a family pass, so it was like $4 and change for both of us for the boat, but normally it's $3 a piece.
Oh, okay.
And we're cheap, so we're taking the tram.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm ready to fly down 65. Hit the coastline in the sunshine.
This is the way to go. Why walk when you can ride a tram?
And it's free.
Oh, look at this. It's so cute. I'm loving all the manatees. Which way do you want to go, Matthew?
To the right.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We are fixing to see Lou. There he is!
Oh.
I thought he was a statue at first.
Nope, that's Lou.
Let's see if we can get closer to Lou, y'all. This is Lou. He's 60 years old. He just turned 60. Told
He
y'all.
was obviously waiting for something. I'm guessing breakfast.
Yeah, and this bridge right here, I think was called Hippo Bridge, but it's closed because of the hurricane. Hurricane Helene did a lot of damage, y'all.
It did, yeah.
So
Cedar Key, too.
they're still trying to fix everything back up. Ooh, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Well, there you go.
There's Lou.
Look, y'all. It's wolves.
I imagine wolves to be bigger though, but maybe
Well, there's different kinds.
maybe in Florida they need to look like that because it's so hot, but in Alaska they're probably nice and beefy and furry, and
It all depends on your diet and your location.
it's like they're walking a trail, y'all.
It's their territory. I mean, wolves have normally a large territory, so this is unfortunately small for them.
This is called what? The Florida fox?
Gray
fox. He's so cute. Look. Look at that. Aww. Okay, here comes the other one. See it? Back
They
there.
obviously want out, too. They want to go explore.
Yeah, look at them. All right, y'all, can y'all spot the owls? Look at that, y'all. That is super cool.
And you see the big one back in the corner.
Yeah. Y'all, it's the bird of Florida, the flamingo. Is the flamingo the bird of Florida?
I have no idea, but it's the most recognizable symbol of Florida.
Yeah, and nothing speaks Florida like pink flamingos.
Like a bird standing on one leg.
They're so pretty. Why do they stand on one leg, Matthew? I'm going to quiz you.
Resting, I guess.
All right, peeps. Why do they stand on one leg?
Well, you see that one that's sleeping on one leg.
Oh, he's sleeping with his little face in his back. All right, y'all. We think this might be a baby pelican because it looks like it's just white and it's starting to get its feathers, right, Matthew?
Mm-hmm.
It's very cute. And they all seem to be sitting on nests, these right here. So there might be future baby pelicans coming in. And then look at those.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. How many of y'all can spot the gator?
It's watching you.
Where is it? All right, y'all. There's a black bear. There are black bears in Florida.
Yes, there are.
This bear seems to have two buzzards following him. I think that's a lemon she gave him,
No,
right?
it's a grapefruit.
Oh, it's a grapefruit?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a small one. Okay, he's gonna peel it. Alright, I'm gonna give y'all a close-up. He's eating a grapefruit. He used those big claws of his to tear it open. And then the buzzards are waiting over there. There they are. Alright, y'all, what kind of bird is this? It's not a flamingo, and we couldn't find a sign to say what it is. That's like a, what type of beak, Matthew? Like a platypus beak?
Or a duck-billed something.
Yeah. But they're so pretty, though. They're just standing there staring at us. And they're like, look, don't touch me. I told you. Blah, 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 blah. That's what they sound like. What is it? What's that TV show? Earl and Hardy?
Laurel and Hardy.
Laurel and Hardy. All right, y'all, update. We just asked a ranger or volunteer what they were, and they're spoonbills.
Spoonbills, yeah.
They're so pretty.
I've never seen them before.
Me either.
They
They're
are
very cool. Look at that. There it is. There's its tail. What did you say, Matthew? It's a panther?
Well, panther, cougar, mountain lion, they go by different names. They are native to Florida as far as I understand, but that's the only time you'll ever see them, because in the wild they'll see you, but you probably won't see them.
It's just hiding out in the shade right now.
You see, and pan to the trees, you see how they had to protect the trees to keep it from climbing out?
Wow. You're like, look, cat, you ain't getting out of here. And there it goes, see? Alright, y'all, here's a close-up of Lou. We got to go on the other side. Just had to go the long way around to get to Lou. He just likes to keep his mouth on the ground, doesn't he, Matthew?
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not in the water right now.
Alright, y'all, we have entered the splatter zone. And if you know what that means, you know what that means. I see one, Matthew, through the fence. See it?
Manatee feeding time. These are the ones that they're rehabilitating.
These two with the white on their tails, that's our orphans. One of them 51 years old, the other
There's
34
three
years
of them
old.
there, Matthew.
Yeah, I see them.
Like the one over here, right here in front, that's Ariel. My sister's the one in the back, Betsy. This one right here is Hines. And that one coming up is Piper.
Good throw.
Now, one of these days, the Olympics is going to have a lettuce tossing contest. I'm going to be the winner. One out there.
The outside one.
She's a little food aggressive. So if she doesn't have any lettuce and the one next to her does, she'll reach out and grab it and take it away from her.
Gotcha.
All right, y'all, we just got to see the coolest thing ever.
Yep, we got to see them feed manatees, and they feed them because they're, what, rescued manatees?
Yeah, two were orphaned, so they've always been in the park, and they're the biggest. I think they're 2,200 pounds apiece.
Each, yeah, normally
Each.
about 1,000.
And then the other two got hurt, I think, by a boat, right?
Yeah, and the other two, they're going to try to release into the wild eventually, but the two orphans, they said, have They were born in a zoo somewhere, so they're never going to be able to make it in the wild.
And they feed them romaine lettuce that they buy from a supplier, like the same place like restaurants and stuff get their supply. And they eat, is it 100 pounds each feeding?
150 for the first feeding, and then 100 pounds for the other 3 feedings.
Okay. All right, y'all, this place is packed. It's
To the gills.
It's a Saturday. When we got here, y'all saw the parking lot. It was not full, but even the overflow is,
Pretty much parked up.
yeah. And people are still coming in. Yeah, we had to get out of that parking lot. It was so busy.
It really was.
Even the overflow was filling up. But it's a Saturday. It's still snowbird season.
And it's a 3-day weekend.
And it's a holiday weekend. But
Yep.
I had a really good time. The key is to get there early and
get there when they open or thereabouts. Otherwise, you're going to be hunting for a parking spot like it's Black Friday at the mall.
Yeah, because I remember when Matthew called, even I think it was last weekend, they were busy, which was not a holiday weekend, and the woman that worked there said I had to circle the parking lot just to find a spot, you know, to park so they could work. But yeah, and I think they feed the manatees 9:30, 11:30, 1:30, and 3:30. That's where y'all got to see them eating the romaine lettuce.
Now, again, those are only the ones that are either rehabilitating or the ones that are orphans. Otherwise, they don't just feed the manatees in the wild, and they don't let you feed them either, but you can watch, and that'll be a ticket to see them up close at a scheduled time.
And we got to see Lou.
Oh, that
who
was
is
fun.
Not 60, he's 65.
He's an old bugger.
And on the sign they say hippos in the wild live 40 to 50 years, but in captivity 60. So he looked pretty old. He was moving really slow. So, but it was very neat to see. How many of y'all knew who Lou was? And have you seen Lou?
Lou looks like a sweet creature, but he's so old.
It's just a wonderful park. We like seeing it, and now we're gonna try to eat. Well, we're gonna eat lunch. We got out of there and are parked in some abandoned parking lot. We brought it.
Yay, peanut butter.
And
while we can still eat peanut butter.
Yeah, and if you don't know why that is, we will inform y'all hopefully tomorrow, but we're gonna check out and see what else there might be to do here.
So y'all, by now we've showed you some manatees. You know, the big puffy round things that just coast under the water, and what do you think they eat? They eat grass. They eat aquatic grass. That's all they eat. And this one here said, man, that sounds like a good idea. Let's try that kind of diet. So that's what we're on, more or less. Care to explain?
Well, we're down here, obviously, in Florida for Matthew, mainly. And so, in between doctor's visits and stuff, I'm like, well, why don't we try to do our best to be advocates for ourselves and get healthy? And that means, like, exercising more than we normally would.
Which
and
we are.
Maybe changing our diet some. We're not doing this to lose weight. We're doing it to make ourselves healthy. But the diet that we're on is called the Whole30 diet. In fact, we've done it years ago when we lived in our sticks and bricks.
This is not a fad diet. It is well researched and been around for a very long time.
Right. It's an anti-inflammatory diet, most of all. It kind of helps eliminate a lot of
systemic inflammation, stuff that affects things you don't even know about.
So it eliminates a lot of the bad food groups and stuff like that. They have books and websites and everything like that. And so then after 30 days, you slowly introduce the stuff that you eliminated to see if your body gets inflamed again or agitated somehow. Then you know, oh, okay, well, that's causing a problem. But it helps a lot health-wise too, because it did us a lot of benefit years ago.
Oh yeah, big
so we're
benefit.
doing that. It's just not, the food choices are better than they were years ago. You have a little bit more to choose from, but
let's explain. And by the way, we're not dietitians, we're not doctors. You get the whole blah blah blah. You get it, all right? Talk to somebody who actually knows something. We're just goofballs who are doing what we think we know what we're doing. Anyways, so it's basically whole foods. You're eating a modest amount of fruits, you're eating vegetables, and you're eating lean meats. And you can have nuts and seeds, and that's it. And when I say that's it, that's it. No sugar. We don't drink alcohol anyways, but no alcohol. No beans, no dairy, no anything you can't pronounce. If you can't pronounce it, you don't get to eat it.
And for you coffee lovers, you can have coffee, but it has to be black. Black coffee. Also, we're not boondocking. We're in an RV park, and we're very close to amenities because on the whole 30, the lettuce only lasts so long, or the bananas only last so long. You need a lot. You need to have access to trash readily and water and stuff because you're preparing food a lot more.
Yes.
You produce a lot more trash and stuff. And you need, like I said, you need to go to the store more often to get those fresh foods and stuff. So I thought we were in a good place, and that's what we're doing. And we're on day 2 of 30. And we'll see when we're done with this if we might want to maybe not extend and stay on whole 30 permanently. I think a lot of people, well, some people do that, or they'll make it like a whole 60. We might gravitate into paleo or maybe look into keto. I don't know, but we just want to start with the whole 30 because we did it years ago and we saw benefits from it. And we're trying to be we're trying to get ourselves healthier because, I mean, you think living the RV lifestyle, you do hiking and stuff like that, oh, you can be healthy. No, we haven't really been that healthy in our lifestyle, so.
All right, y'all, this is probably the very easiest maintenance thing we've ever had to do. You notice something missing? That would be this. The knob. It goes up here, but as you can see, let me show you, it broke off on the side. Don't ask me how that happened. I have no idea. But this is probably going to be the easiest fix. Hang on. We got another one from Rec Pro through Amazon. So, can you see that? If you can't see that, there's a screw in the middle of this, just a regular machine screw. You see the tip of it there? You don't want to over tighten it. I'm pretty sure that's the deal, but it's a big screw, so there's a lot of tightening here. I feel resistance. I will stop. Ooh, looky, looky. Oh, hello, sunshine. So that really was the very easiest, even easier than a trim piece. That was the easiest thing we've ever had to repair. I wish RVs were always that simple.
Good morning.
Morning, y'all.
We left before the chickens got up.
Yep, that's pretty early.
We are currently staying in the Chiefland area, but the truck is due for its service, and we are taking it to Gainesville, which was almost an hour away. It's March 1st, and we got the truck March 8th, 4 years ago. So the truck has finally hit 60,000 miles, and it took about 4 years. Does that surprise you that it took 4 years to get 60,000?
I don't know what I expected. It seems like we did a lot of high mileage moves out west, and we've been across country a few times now, but I don't know. That's a lot of mileage for this beast.
What do y'all think for a full-time RVer? Were you expecting it to be, I don't know,
maybe
higher?
A little bit more. I thought it might be a little more by now.
Yeah.
Well, we made it. Ford is good for another probably 10,000 miles. What would you say about the dealership?
I really liked it, and they kept coming into the room to, talk to the customers and stuff like that to see, oh, you're ready to go, or, maybe you need to look at this or whatever. But they don't try to,
push stuff on you that you don't need. Yeah.
And if you don't need something changed, you're not going to change it. Like, he checked our air filter, and it looked dirty from the outside. And when we were in the desert, that we're like, oh, it's probably dirty. Honestly, should probably just change it. And he came back, he said it didn't need to be changed. It was only dirty on the outside, but it totally didn't need to be changed. So, stuff like that where they're not deliberately wanting to give you everything new or replace everything because they make more money doing that.
Now, with that being said, prices these days are a little expensive, but I would trust them again. Definitely I would. Yeah, I would trust them again. I think they did a good job. It took for freaking ever, but I would trust them again.
Just 2 bits of advice that we discovered. We thought we wanted to get something diagnosed, and we decided against it because just to diagnose it, it's $300. Is it an hour? Or just
No, $300 just for the diagnostic.
Okay.
And that's way higher than it used to be.
And when you look online, they say, well, it should be between 100 and 200. So we call, and I'm like, well, I don't know. And so we called another dealership, and they said, well, theirs was 200. So if you...
But that was in a different city, so...
So just shop around for the I don't honestly know if they're starting to go up, but we're like, wow, that's very expensive. So keep that in mind. If you need something diagnosed, maybe call around to dealerships and see if you can get a better rate on that. And they have to have good reviews too, but
as far as doing the work, yeah, I would trust them. I wasn't crazy about all the prices, but I think we got treated very fairly.
And one other thing, when you come out and they have to reprogram stuff, because you know all these vehicles are fancy smancy now. Like I went to get in the truck and I couldn't. I'm like, where are the running boards? The running boards didn't come out and explain why that was.
Well, they told me that they deliberately turned that off because our running boards come in and out on their own. So they said they turned that off in order to put it on the lift because it'd be dangerous, something get damaged. So I really appreciated the explanation. I appreciate the extra step that they go through to make sure nothing gets damaged. We never told them where we went to. It was Parks. Ford, Lincoln in Gainesville.
Go Gators. We're in Gator country. Y'all stay tuned because coming up, I don't know when, but eventually, hopefully, I'm going to the University of Florida campus because that's where I wanted to go to college. And me being from Mississippi, my dad's like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm not paying out-of-state tuition. You pick a school in Mississippi and go to, and put your comments below. What college did I wind up going to in Mississippi? But anyways, off subject. The last time you heard from us, the truck got taken care of. Matthew got to go to Harbor Freight. Well,
Yay!
We decided to go to Sam's Club, and the traffic was horrific, and we didn't understand why. We got closer to Sam's, and we noticed they were barricading roads and stuff like that, but you could still go into Sam's.
We figured there was an accident. You know, it's really highly congested in that area, so it's, you know, logically there's something happened.
So we parked the truck, not thinking of anything, and then when we came back, we had like news channel cars parked around the truck, which Matthew's about to have a hernia or whatever.
Yeah, I parked in such a way where I only took up one space, but it was highly motivating to people not to park next to me. And they did. They squeezed in. I mean, squeezed in. I'm like, you got all these other spaces. But anyways, that's not... Yeah. A lot of you are like me. You know exactly. You're telling your TV right now, that's what happens to me. Yes.
These reporters were hardcore, and I saw one, like, you know, they got their hair and they're all done up and they're on the corner. I'm like, what is going on? And then I started seeing they were starting to barricade more areas, and then as we got out of the area, I typed it in, and it says there is a standoff at the Walmart, which was literally a couple of businesses over from the Sam's.
An armed standoff.
Yeah, and they were we couldn't hear the gunshots, but they said there were gunshots and stuff. I don't know if it happened in the store or out of the store, but look it up. Y'all probably already know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
March 1st, Gainesville, Florida.
By the time you see this, it's done been in the news.
It's just now making the news and stuff like that. So...
And it's not a bad part of town, y'all. This is a pretty nice part of town.
It looked pretty upscale area where we were, and so we parked like literally right where
we parked in the back of the parking lot. Like you couldn't go any further back than where we parked. But
did we run from danger? No, we hid the danger.
We head right to it, man. Honestly, we pray everybody was okay. Yeah. For us, it just happened, so we have no idea. But for you, you could look it up, and they probably haven't been to court by now. I have no idea.
So now we're in it's a Saturday, so we're in a nice big church parking lot. Because we were going to eat, because we're on the Whole 30, so we had to bring our own food. We were just going to eat there in the parking lot. Matt's like, I don't think we need to head somewhere else. So now we're in a church parking lot.
Yep.
Ready for lunch?
I am ready for my rabbit food.
Good morning, y'all.
Morning. How y'all doing?
Matthew's wearing new accessories.
Yep, I got new glasses.
Can y'all notice? Y'all eagle eye watchers notice every little tidbit. So I pointed out. We are headed back towards the Tampa area for another doctor's appointment with your third doctor.
Doctor
right?
number 3.
But this time,
maybe this won't be a joke.
But this time it's primary care, so we're just starting at the bottom and see who he thinks Matthew needs to be not thrown out to, but fished out to, or
and what kind of tests I need and stuff, because the first 2 totally flaked out. So I'm looking for a doctor who will do the hard work of not just saying, oh, well, we'll just guess at that one and give you some meds for it. No, they need to do some testing. They need to try to figure out what's wrong with me, my unique situation, and I'm really hoping that this guy will do the job.
Right. You ready to go?
I am ready.
Okay, let's go.
So, we're done with the doctor. This is doctor number 3, for those of you who are keeping track.
Which is a primary care doctor. And
who also has a specialized in sports medicine, which means movement, limbs, stuff like that. So I think this was overall a pretty good doctor.
I was going to say, were you pretty happy with them?
Yeah, because this one didn't want to just say, oh, I don't care what it is, here's some pills. And he's not like the other one who just threw his hands up on me and said, I don't know what to do with you. So he wanted to go through a logical progression of scans. He wants to explore stuff. I'm going to be getting an x-ray. I'm going to be getting an MRI of my neck and another one of my brain. See if there's anything in there. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Could just be a hamster in a wheel.
Because you, honestly, y'all, you just want to rule out anything that could be sinister. Did he think that it was something, you know, like the worst case scenario, a tumor or something? He said probably not, because with a tumor you get a whole lot of other symptoms and stuff, but you want to rule the scary stuff out, whereas the other doctors, they didn't want to
explore anything. One of them literally just said he didn't want to do any testing at all, and the other one threw his hands up and said, you just need to go to the ER. I don't know what to do for you. I'm like, but you're the specialist who does this. But
so you need to be your best advocate. He even asked when the neurologist who Matthew had saw previously just did it from the elbow to the hand. He said that's all he did. And we're like, yeah, and he said he didn't need any more testing. He's like, that's interesting. But
and that's interesting was code for we're going to do more. And so he just listed off all this stuff that he wanted to do, and I was impressed by that. I said, Doc, I will get any test done you want me to.
And we got into him pretty quick. At first, they didn't have anything till April. The girl kept looking, got him in for March 30th. They had another cancellation, got him in March 18th. And then just right at the last minute, they're like, we have a cancellation. And he was able to get in. What is today, the 4th? I think today's the 4th.
Yeah.
By the time y'all see this, I'm not sure when it's going to be. But the point is, he didn't even try to get into this doctor till like sometime in February. And down here in Florida, when it's snowbird season, it's really hard to establish as a new patient. Once you're a new patient, I think you probably could get in a little quick.
You mean an existing patient?
Yeah, once you're an existing patient, after you've done the initial new patient thing, you can get in. Because there was one group, like we might have mentioned, I don't know, he couldn't even get in. They're like, we're not taking any new patients.
Like the whole group, and they had a whole slew of doctors in there.
10 or more doctors. I'm like, what?
We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good today. We got to see a good doctor. We got some good tests coming up, which I'm actually looking forward to getting because it'll rule some stuff out. And then we have a plan after that. So we got plans.
And as of right now, we are still in Chiefland. So the drive to Brooksville is only an hour and a half, whereas to get to Tampa, it was over 2 hours. So we are closer. So, and I don't know if we told you, but we're staying in Chiefland for another month. So we would have been at that RV park for 2 months. But we're probably going to move closer to Tampa, hopefully, the next month. Okay, you ready to eat some of our Whole30 lunch? We had to bring lunch with us again.
Rabbit food, yay!
Y'all, so we are here in Brooksville, and Matthew had his first scan today was an x-ray of his neck, because they want to see if something's going on in his neck that affects his arm. And then after that, they want him to get an MRI of his neck, which, you know, an MRI is like what? I think it's the top imaging, isn't MRI?
I think so, yeah.
And then an MRI of the brain, just to make sure everything nothing else is, you know, hiding that would cause symptoms and stuff. But so he got the x-ray today, and we thought he would go ahead and schedule the MRI, but they said, well, you have to wait on the results from the x-ray, and then the insurance has to authorize, maybe, I guess that's what they were saying, before you can schedule the MRI. They have to, and I think the doctor kind of hinted towards something like that. So we don't know when he can get the MRI, even though the doctor wants him to have an MRI. It's up to the insurance people, y'all. But we'll keep y'all updated. We just want answers for Matthew. And now we're going to head back to Chiefland. And we hope we can eventually get an RV park closer to all of his medical appointments and stuff. That'll make it a lot easier too. So we just wanted to give y'all a brief update. Nothing, no news. I mean, they didn't read the scan or anything like that. Just letting y'all know what we're going through as living full-time on the road and trying to get medical appointments and everything like that scanned.